Hi students, today's lecture is on modulus of elasticity of concrete. As we all know, there are few properties of materials which are to be learnt, and one of the property which plays an important role in design of structural elements is modulus of elasticity. So as we all know, modulus of elasticity is constant for few members, but for concrete, as concrete is a heterogeneous member, it is a mixture of three elements: the water, fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Concrete is behaving a little different, so concrete's modulus of elasticity is determined in a different way compared to the other homogeneous materials. So concrete is again two types. One is plain cement concrete and reinforced cement concrete. Now concrete here means we are talking about plain cement concrete. So first in this topic we will talk about the definition of modulus of elasticity, and then determination, how we will determine the modulus of elasticity, and then we will be also seeing how to measure the strains in concrete, and then we will be seeing the different types of Young's modulus or elastic modulus that are being used in finding out the Young's modulus of concrete, and then we have the other factors which are affecting the modulus, Young's modulus. So now moving on, generally in reinforced cement concrete it is assumed that concrete is elastic, but it is just a mere assumption, but concrete is not elastic in nature. So now beginning of the lecture we will be seeing what is the definition of modulus of elasticity. Now Young's modulus is generally the ratio of stress and strain, or the ratio of stress and strain at a particular point, or else it can be also defined as the slope of the stress strain curve of a particular material. So sometimes it is also defined as the change of stress with respect to the elastic strain. So it is determined by taking the ratios of stress and strain. As you can see in the diagram, there are two stress strain curves. One is a linear one, another one is a non-linear elastic. So generally the concept here is, in reinforced concrete is generally assumed to be elastic. It is isotropic and homogeneous, and it obeys Hooke's law. These are all just assumptions, but actually none of these assumptions are strictly true, and concrete is also not perfectly elastic material. It is just by assuming a few things we can generate a theory. So in accordance with the assumptions, it has been assumed that concrete is elastic, isotropic and homogeneous and obeys Hooke's law, but in reality none of these assumptions actually are true. So by definition, elasticity, strain appears on the application of stress or force. So as soon as we apply stress or force, the strain develops. So we also know that strength of materials is based on strain based approach, because strain comes first. As a reciprocation, stress develops in the material. So here the study of strain becomes very important. So as the removal of stress happens, the strain will also disappear within the elastic region. So if the stress strain curve is straight as shown in the figure, if the stress strain curve is straight, then the material is called elastic. If the stress strain curve is not perfectly straight, non-linear, then it is not perfectly elastic. So in case of concrete, it deforms on the application of load generally, but this deformation does not follow any set rule. So the deformation of concrete depends upon the magnitude of the load, the rate of application of the load, and the time elapsed after which the observations are recorded. So thus the deformation behavior of concrete is quite complex. So only when you know the deformation behavior of a material, then only you can plot the stress strain curve. So only after finding out the stress strain curve of a material, then only you can be able to find out the Young's modulus of that material. Because Young's modulus talks about the elastic property of a material, elastic property of a material has a very important role in considering that member for the design, or considering that member as a structural member. As you know, Young's modulus of steel is constant, Young's modulus of aluminum is constant, all the Young's modulus for different materials are all constant. Young's modulus is the measure of elasticity. But in the case of concrete, as concrete is a heterogeneous material, it is not constant, and the values keep changing for it. So moving on, you have by the definition of elasticity, strain appears on the application of stress or force and disappears on the removal of stress. So if the stress strain curve is straight, then the material is said to be elastic. If it is not straight, then the material is not elastic, it is not perfectly elastic. And so as I have just told you, the deformation of concrete depends upon the magnitude of the load, the rate of application of the load, and the time elapsed after which the observations are recorded. So the deformation behavior of concrete is quite complex, and you have seen in the figure in the previous slide, in the figure 2, that the material is not perfectly elastic. So in case of concrete, it deforms on the application of the load, but this deformation does not follow any set of rule. So next, moving on, we have determination, how to determine the modulus of elasticity of concrete. So generally on an experiment basis, we will generate, or we will find out the modulus of elasticity of concrete. So for this you need to have a specimen, a cylindrical specimen of 15 centimeter dia and 30 centimeter height or length, or you can have 15 centimeter cube which is under uniaxial compression. Usually you can test that specimen in UTM, universal testing machine. So measuring the strains or deformations by strain gauges or Dale gauges fixed at certain gauge length. In order to finding out the strains, you have to fix a gauge length. So all the observations will be made between that gauge length, and that gauge length is predefined, and all the observations are made within that gauge length. So in the experiment you will be using a specimen or a sample of a cylindrical shape or cubical shape. So the magnitude of the observed strains and curvature of the stress strain curve depends upon the rate of application of the stress. So if the load is applied extremely rapid, then the strains are greatly reduced, and the curvature of stress strain curve is reduced to a very small value. So if the rate of loading is slow, that means if you increase the time of loading slowly, if you increase the time of loading from 5 seconds to about 2 minutes, the increase in strain is found to go by 15%. So the behavior or the Young's modulus also depends upon the rate of loading as well. So basing upon the rate of loading also, you can have the behavior elastic modulus. So the determination of modulus of elasticity is found out using a specimen. The specimen dimensions have already been mentioned. So what we have studied till now is that elastic modulus or Young's modulus of concrete is not the same in the case of every material, because concrete is a heterogeneous material. So there are various other factors which play an important role in telling the Young's modulus of concrete. So one of the important parameter is rate of loading. So depending upon the rate of loading, the Young's modulus also varies. So if the magnitude of the observed strains and the curvature of the stress strain curve, it generally depends upon the rate of application of stress. When the load is applied extremely rapid, the strains recorded are greatly reduced, and the curvature of stress strain curve is reduced to a very small value. But in case if the rate of loading is very low, that means by increasing the time of loading from 5 seconds to 2 minutes, the increase in the strain is found to go up by 15%. But generally the normal rate of loading is 2 to 10 minutes. Between 2 to 10 minutes the loading is applied. So 2 to 10 minutes is required to test a specimen in an ordinary testing machine. The increase in strain is very small. Hence, the degree of non-linear behavior is also very small. So for determination of modulus of elasticity, you have a specimen which is described here. Next, moving on, the value of strain is calculated by dividing the gauge readings by gauge length. So whatever the change in dimension you are finding out within the gauge length, that change in dimension divided by the gauge length will give you the strain. For finding out the stress, the strain, the load will be taken, and the load at which the strain is observed will be taken, and it is divided by the area of cross section. So once the load is divided by the area of cross section, you will be getting the stress. Using these values of stress and strain, you will be plotting the stress strain curve of the material. The modulus of elasticity so obtained from the actual loading, this is from the actual loading, is called as static modulus of elasticity. Okay, so the modulus of elasticity is actually now is called as the static modulus of elasticity. It has been observed that even under short term loading, concrete does not behave as an elastic material. However, up to about 10 to 15% of the ultimate strength of concrete, the stress strain curve is not much curved. More accurate values of modulus of elasticity may be obtained. So for smaller values of load also, the behavior of concrete is not elastic, and up to 10 to 15% of the ultimate strength of concrete, the stress strain curve is not much curved. So the stress strain curve can be read quite easily, and more accurate values of modulus of elasticity can be obtained. So now you can also see that for different mixes, that means for different grades of concrete, the stress strain behavior is also different. The stress strain behavior is also different. So Young's modulus varies for the grade of concrete. So from the figure shown in the slide, you can see that the stress strain curve for various mixed proportion concrete for various mixes, that is for different grades M20, M10, M15 and so on and so forth. The modulus of elasticity of concrete is by measured in compression, tension or shear. You can measure in any kinds of stress. The modulus of elasticity in tension is equal to the modulus of elasticity in compression. So the curve drawn between stress and strain of aggregate alone is found a fairly good straight line. That means if you draw the stress strain curve of aggregate alone, aggregate will give you a perfectly straight line, because aggregate is a homogeneous material. You won't be having any kinds of voids in it. So the stress strain diagram will also be very simple, and it will be linearly straight. The study of that stress strain curve of aggregate can be done easily. Similarly, the curve of stress strain of cement paste alone shows a fairly good straight line. So as cement paste is again a homogeneous one, so the study of stress strain curve of cement paste is not so difficult either, because it will be again giving you a straight line. So you can easily find out the Young's modulus or any other property of the cement paste. So aggregates, and if you combine the aggregate and cement paste again, then the curve will be, the stress strain curve will be a curved one. So as you keep mixing different materials, the stress strain behavior will be changing. Why this is? Because this is due to the development of fine or micro cracks at the interface of the aggregate and the cement paste. See, when you have drawn the stress strain behavior of aggregate alone, it came down to be a straight line, as you can see in the slide. Now when you have drawn the stress strain curve for cement paste separately, then that is also somewhat linear, straight line, and it is almost close to a straight line. But when you have started mixing both of them together, aggregate and cement paste, now this is no more a straight line. Now it is coming into the shape of a curve. Why? Perhaps this is due to the development of fine or micro cracks at the interface of the aggregate and cement paste. At the junction, at the bond, the way the bond has to be formed, at the junction of the bond, there will be micro cracks. So this failure of bond at the interface increases at a faster rate than that due to the applied stress. Thus the stress strain curve continues to bend faster than the increase of stress. So at the junction of bonding between the aggregate and the cement paste, the junction is not so strong. The bond between both of them starts failing at a faster rate than compared to the applying stress rate. So that is why the stress strain curve takes the shape of a curve, not linear as in the case of homogeneous ones. So thus the stress strain curve continues to bend faster than the increase of stress. So stress strain relationship of aggregate, cement paste and concrete are shown in the figure given in the slide. Now moving on, how to measure the strains. So up to now what you have understood is the stress strain behavior for a homogeneous material and a heterogeneous material is pretty different. Why it is different? Because when two or more materials are getting mixed together, there is a possibility of formation of voids, and there will be a possibility of weak bonds, and the bond becomes weaker as the stress is increased. So because of all these parameters, the stress strain curve takes the shape of a curve rather the shape of a straight line. So that is what we have understood till now. So our aim is to find out the Young's modulus of concrete, which is also one of the heterogeneous material. So we have understood the definition of Young's modulus, and then we have understood why the behavior is different, why it is not shaping as taking the shape of a straight line, and we have also understood why the curvilinear shape is coming, and how the specimen is prepared for measuring the Young's modulus of concrete. And moving on, now we have how slides for the measurement of strains. So strains are important because by knowing the stress strain values, you can plot the stress strain curve, and then you can find out the Young's modulus. The measurement of strains in concretes is not so easy, but within certain limits it can be determined. So here Lamb's roller extensometer is used to find out the strains within the gauge length, predefined gauge length. So what happens is, in this method, the extensometer is fixed on a 15 cm by 13 cm cylindrical specimen, and this specimen is placed in the compression testing machine, and on this testing machine the loading rate is at a rate of 140 kg per centimeter square per minute, and the load on the cylinder is increased gradually up to it reaches 1/3 of the characteristic compressive strength of the cube plus 7 kg per centimeter square. So it will be started, the load on it will be starting with 140 kg per centimeter square, and the load on it is stopped until it reaches 1/3 of the characteristic compressive strength of the cube plus 7 kg per centimeter square. And then this load is placed for 1 minute. That means this specimen has to sustain this load. After sustained loading for 1 minute, the load is released gradually at a rate of 1.5 kg per centimeter square. So now the loading is released at a rate of 1.5 kg per centimeter square. So now what happens is, this is the first operation. First operation, you will be placing the sample within the gauge length, and then you will be applying the load. You will place the load for 1 minute, and then the load is gradually released. In the second operation, what happens is, the reading of the extensometer is noted, and it is again loaded till the load reaches to 1/3 of the cube strength. Now in the previous case, whatever is the extension that has occurred in the specimen, that is recorded, and again the loading is done up to 1/3 of the cube strength plus 1.5 kg per centimeter square. Previously it was plus 7 kg per centimeter square, now it is plus 1.5 kg per centimeter square. Now again the reading of the extensometer is noted. On application of the load, the specimen will expand. The reading of the extensometer is again noted. If it is a compressive load, the length will be decreasing. If it is a tensile load, the length will be increasing. And again the load is slowly released till it reaches to a value of 1.5 kg per centimeter square on the cylindrical specimen. Now in the third cycle, the load is again kept from 0 position to again 1/3 of the cube strength. Previously the load started with 140 kg per centimeter square. Now the loading is started from 0 to 1/3 of the cube strength plus 1.5 kg per centimeter square. This is how the 3 stages. The difference you can find is only the difference in loading. it is divided into 10 intervals. The cylinder is loaded with the standard rate, and at the end of each interval the reading of extensometer is noted. The difference between the strains of the second and third observation should not be more than 5%. These strains are plotted against stress as shown in the figure. Now you can see, if you draw the stress strain values that are found out in the previous slide, the procedure for finding out the stress strain in the previous slide has been discussed. Now the values of these stress and strain are plotted on a graph. So now if you see the curve shape is coming in the diagram, and for this curvilinear stress strain curve, the respective tangents are drawn for finding out the Young's modulus. So in this you have two kinds of modulus. One is static modulus, the other one is dynamic modulus. And under the static modulus, again you have initial tangent modulus and tangent modulus, and then secant modulus. Now you can see in the figure, initial tangent modulus, it is represented by the slope of a tangent. The initial tangent modulus is represented by the slope of a tangent to the stress strain curve passing through the origin. If you see, it is passing through the origin. It is passing through the origin, if you see. So this tangent to the curve will give you the stress strain ratio. So this modulus is called as initial tangent modulus. This is called as your initial tangent modulus, the line between O and A, the line starting from O to A. Now if you see, the second one is the tangent modulus. Now this tangent modulus is represented by the slope of the line which is drawn as a tangent to the stress strain curve at any point on the curve. At any point, see, this is the shape of the curve, this is the shape of the curve here. So anywhere you can draw a tangent here, you can draw a tangent here, or you can draw a tangent here, anywhere. So all this. So what he means to say is, the tangent modulus is nothing but a tangent drawn to the curve anywhere on the curve. You can draw at any point on the curve, you can draw it. So this is tangent modulus. Now coming to the third one, the secant modulus. Secant modulus is represented by the slope of a line. It is the slope of a line drawn from origin to any point C on the curve. Origin to any point C on the curve. So see, if you can see in the diagram, this line O and C, these 2 points, it is touching this point and it is touching this point, O and C. So this is your secant modulus. Generally, secant modulus is considered to be practically more viable. Why? Because here you can see it is the curve is pretty complex, and wherever if you want to consider the tangent modulus, the slope of that line will be changing. So you cannot go for one fixed value. And when you consider the secant modulus, all the obligations or the differences are not considered, and straight away you are joining O and C. So whatever slope you are getting from this line, so this is more reliable. So that is why secant modulus is considered as Young's modulus of concrete in IS 456. Indian standard is also considering secant modulus as the modulus, elastic modulus. So these are the three modulus which are coming under static modulus. So one is initial tangent modulus, the tangent OA. Next one is the tangent modulus, that is the tangent at B. And next is the tangent again which is drawn from the origin OC, secant modulus. See that the OC line is not a tangent, that is why it is called as secant modulus. So this method is most practical and is in most general use as it represents the actual deformation. So just now we have seen the definitions of static elastic modulus, that you have initial tangent modulus. And why tangent modulus is not considered is it is difficult to determine tangent modulus with accuracy, as the tangent to the curve is drawn by the eye judgment. And the third one, that's secant modulus. Secant modulus is more preferred one because it is more practically viable and it represents the actual deformation at the selected point, and no uncertainties are involved in its deformation. secant modulus is found to decrease with increase in stress. Hence, stress at which it has been determined should be stated. So whenever you are telling the modulus, Young's modulus, you have to mention the corresponding stress to that modulus also, right? So secant modulus is used by IS 456 2000, Indian standards 2000. Now Indian standards ISI 456 2000, it is also suggesting the relationship between static modulus of elasticity EC and characteristic strength of concrete as follows. So generally Young's modulus is given by 5000 root FCK by IS 456 2000, because Young's modulus depends upon the grade of concrete on the mix. So as the mix changes, the Young's modulus also changes. Young's modulus is not constant for concrete, as we have discussed, because concrete is a heterogeneous material. It depends upon various factors. So various factors will influence Young's modulus of concrete. So this Young's modulus of concrete EC, or the static modulus, is also called as short term modulus also. It is based on the secant modulus. Secant modulus is used. So it is also based on short term load. Secant modulus is also based on short term load, that is the live load. So for consideration for a few designs, the long term modulus is also considered. The long term modulus EC is given by EC by 1 plus theta, where theta is known as the age factor, which is the age factor of concrete. So again there is another factor which will be affecting the Young's modulus, that is creep. Creep is also influencing the Young's modulus of concrete. So what is creep? Creep is the deflection or strain at a sustained loading. So this is also a kind of strain, creep strain of concrete. So this way the Young's modulus of concrete, which is very complex to find out. So the Young's modulus of concrete is having secant modulus, is considered using secant modulus. And what is dynamic modulus? If you see dynamic modulus is the value of modulus of velocity determined by actual loading of concrete, is known as static modulus of velocity. This method of testing is known as destructive method, as the specimen is stressed or loaded to its failure. The static modulus of elasticity does not represent the true elastic behavior of concrete due to the phenomenon of creep. Just now we talked about creep. At higher stresses, the modulus of elasticity is affected more seriously. So destructive testing we are doing, and we are finding out the modulus of elasticity of concrete. But for this kind of modulus of concrete, the creep will be playing a very important role. So creep will be affecting the behavior of concrete. So a non-destructive method of testing known as dynamic method is adopted for determining the modulus of elasticity. So if the modulus of elasticity determined by using the dynamic method, then this is called as the dynamic modulus. In this case, no stress is applied on the specimen. The modulus of elasticity is determined by subjecting the specimen to longitudinal vibration at their natural frequency. That is why this is known as dynamic modulus. In this case, the modulus of elasticity is determined by subjecting the specimen to a longitudinal vibration in the live condition. So that is why it is called as dynamic modulus. So in this method, either the resonant frequency through a specimen of concrete or pulse velocity traveling through the concrete is measured. From the known values of length of specimen and density of concrete and resonant frequency, the value of this dynamic modulus can be determined. So the dynamic elastic modulus depends upon the values of length of specimen, density of concrete, and resonant frequency. These three values, if they are known, then only you can find out the dynamic velocity. So the value of dynamic modulus of elasticity computed from ultrasonic pulse velocity method is somewhat higher than static modulus of elasticity, as the creep remains unaffected in dynamic modulus. So the main factor which will be affecting the elastic modulus is the creep. So that creep factor will not be coming in dynamic modulus of elasticity. So creep also does not significantly affect the initial tangent modulus. So that is why the value of initial tangent modulus and dynamic modulus is approximately the same, but the value of dynamic modulus is appreciably higher than the secant modulus. The relationship between static and dynamic modulus is given in various experiments. You can find out, you can see on net. So right now when we are discussing about the Young's modulus of concrete, the major points what you have to keep in mind is we will be considering the secant modulus, because Indian standards have suggested us to use the secant modulus. And the what is the need for finding out the modulus of elasticity, if you want to know, because modulus of elasticity has a very important role on strength. It has been observed that for the same strength ratio, the stronger the concrete, higher the strain. On the contrary, stronger the concrete, higher the modulus of elasticity. See, if you see, it is observed that for same stress strength ratio, stronger the concrete, higher the strain. If the concrete is strong, there is higher strain. So on the opposite to it, stronger the concrete, higher the modulus of elasticity. See, stronger the concrete, higher modulus of elasticity. Generally what we assume is if the concrete is strong, it has less modulus of elasticity. That means if it is less elastic, that means it is more strong. That is how we assume. But in the case it is different. Stronger the concrete, higher the modulus of elasticity. So this may be due to the fact that for stronger concretes, its gel is also stronger. Its gel is also stronger. Hence there is less strain for a given load. The gel, the cement concrete paste, whatever is made, it is stronger. So that is why for high strength concretes, the Young's modulus is also high. If you see the graph also for different materials, if you see the graph here, as the grade of concrete is increasing, the Young's modulus is also increasing. If you see, it is becoming steep. So for steeper curves, the Young's modulus values will also be higher. So as the grade is increasing, you can see different values. Now so Young's modulus has a very important role on strength. So this code has already gave you some modulus of elasticity values of concrete basing upon the cube tests. And so what are the various factors which will be affecting the modulus of elasticity are strength of concrete, state of wetness of concrete, and you have properties of aggregate, the effect of age, mix proportion, and these are the 5 factors which will affect the modulus of elasticity. So if you see how for strength of the concrete, it is one of the most important factors which affect the modulus of elasticity. Higher strength concrete has a higher value of modulus of elasticity. Next one is state of wetness of concrete. So the value of modulus of elasticity of wet specimen is found to be higher, from 3 to 4 GPa, than dry specimen. That is, modulus of elasticity of wet concrete is higher by 16.3% to 7.5% according to its compressive strength. So higher value is observed for lower strength. So what you can figure out from it is the strain of wet concrete is found less than for dry concrete. Hence the modulus of elasticity is higher for wet concrete than for dry concrete. So the state of wetness of concrete also plays a major role in finding out the modulus of elasticity. So first factor, it was strength of concrete, and second factor, it is state of modulus of elasticity. Next, if you see, you have properties of aggregate. Aggregate properties also play an important role in finding out the Young's modulus of concrete. Higher the modulus of the aggregate, the higher is the modulus of elasticity of concrete. The modulus of aggregate is higher than the modulus of cement paste. The greater the volume of aggregate, the higher will be the modulus of elasticity of concrete. So however, strength of concrete is not affected much by these properties, but still there will be a definite change in the Young's modulus of concrete. basing upon the properties of aggregate. And the fourth one is the effect of age. The modulus of elasticity of concrete increases more rapidly with age than the strength of the concrete. So thus the relationship between modulus of elasticity of concrete and strength is dependent on age. As I have told you, the long term modulus depends upon the age factor. So modulus of elasticity generally increases at a rapid rate with age than compared to the strength. So the strength depends upon the age. So that is where long term modulus is dependent on age. And the next one is your mixed proportion. It has been observed that richer mixes have higher modulus of elasticity of concrete. That is, higher the amount of cement, higher the modulus of elasticity. The value of modulus of elasticity of concrete of mixed proportion of different ratio with higher one with same age and wet conditions. So the modulus of elasticity of lightweight aggregate concrete usually varies from 40 to 80% of the modulus of normal weight concrete of the same strength. In fact, it is similar to that of cement paste. So the shapes of stress strain curves for the individual materials, we have already seen the shapes of stress strain curve of aggregate, and also we have seen the shapes of stress strain curve of cement paste, and also we have seen the shapes of stress strain curve of concrete. So the shape of stress strain curve also affects the static modulus of elasticity of concrete, but not the dynamic modulus. Hence the ratio of elastic modulus of static condition and elastic modulus of dynamic condition is not fixed. The relationship between the modulus of elasticity and strength is not much affected by temperature up to 230 degrees Celsius, as both these properties varies with temperature in the same way. So temperature will not have a major effect on the values of static Young's modulus and dynamic Young's modulus. Steam cured concrete has slightly lower modulus than water cured concrete of same strength. So there is a difference in curing process also. In case it is steam cured, it has lower modulus. If it is water cured, it has little higher of the same strength. Now why is modulus of elasticity used? What is the applications of modulus of elasticity? So what we can observe is, though concrete is not an elastic material in true sense, but within certain limits it is considered as an elastic material. So the modulus of elasticity of concrete is used in the calculation of structural deformations. You can elasticity plays an important role in finding out the deflections, the deflection limits, and all the serviceability areas. You can and also finding out the reading the flexural properties of concrete. Young's modulus plays a very important role. So it is treated as a little elastic. So in case of reinforced concrete structures, it is used to determine the stresses developed in simple elements, and also to determine the moments, deflections, and stresses. All this can be found out only when the Young's modulus is known. So the dynamic modulus is used to determine the relative durability of concrete when exposed to severe climatic conditions. As the dynamic modulus of concrete changes with the quality of concrete, this method is very useful to determine the quality of concrete when it is subjected to alternate freezing and thawing. So in this lecture you have seen the importance of Young's modulus for various materials, and how the Young's modulus for concrete is different from other materials, how the stress strain curve is different, and how the stress strain curve is assumed, how the stress strain behavior is different for different grades of concrete, and how the Young's modulus or the elastic modulus of concrete is determined experimentally by casting a cylindrical specimen. And you have understood the different modulus that are used, that is your static modulus and dynamic modulus. And under static modulus you have also seen the different initial tangent modulus, the tangent modulus, and the secant modulus. You have seen in the diagrams, and you have understood those three modulus. And we also understood that secant modulus is used for finding out the Young's modulus of concrete according to Indian standards. And we have also understood the various factors which will be affecting the Young's modulus of concrete: the age, the wetness of concrete, and other parameters as well, and we have also understood what is the use of modulus of velocity in the design purpose. So how the short term modulus and the long term modulus are also dependent on the age, and what is age, what is creep. You have understood various parameters. So finally, according to the code, the short term modulus is used for the design, which is given by 5000 root FCK, where FCK is the characteristic compressive strength of concrete. In case if you want to find out the long term modulus, the long term modulus is given by E equals to EC by 1 plus theta. EC by 1 plus theta, where theta is nothing but the age factor. So this is how you found out the Young's modulus of concrete. So that is about today's lecture. Thank you.